Alrighty folks, it's again, what is it? It's about 10 minutes of 9 on, this is Saturday night. I just did one called E minor part 2. So we got 12 minutes of 9, so we got 3 minutes after 9, my 15 minutes. It's hard to guesstimate. I want to use the whole 15 minutes, but I get nervous, and the one I just did was 13. That wasn't bad. No, it'd be 8 minutes after I got into. Yeah, all right. Oh, so I'm going to do a part 3 on the E minor pentatonic. E minor pentatonic is also G major. Okay, so I don't want to overload this, but every minor pentatonic comes from a major key. So here's your E minor, right? The second note, like say you're on the bottom string, so I can help you understand it better. The second note you play on E minor pentatonic, if you do it here on the low E, is a G. That's your major key, and it's that way with any key. So even here, E, the second, and if you're going to play E minor pentatonic from here, the second note you're going to play, if you go in order, is a G. So E minor pentatonic is also G major. So the other thing I didn't mention in the other E minor ones is, you know, say I taught, the first one is all about learning on the whole fretboard. You know, learn on the whole fretboard. But I didn't mention this, which I should have. Find everywhere there's an E note, right? And learn it every which way. Don't just play it here. You got this, but you should play it, be able to play it at every which angle. Depending on how you create your phrasing, that's important. You know, if you're going to go this way with something, you know, if you're going up this way, that's where you're at. So, you know, if you're going to go that way, it depends on which way you're going to go. If you do it this way, if your phrasing that you're building upon, a whole solo or something, is going to go into lower notes, you might want to go that way. To do it here, the same, start with the same note. Of course, you'd use this finger. Alright, so enough of that. Let's get in the G side of it before I always get sidetracked, because there's 1,000 things going on in the mind. Oh, tell him this, tell him this. Oh, harmonic minor. Oh, diminish. Show him the Dorian. Show him the Phrygian. So anyway, so you take that E minor pentatonic, and if you lead off with the G note and go up to the G note, you got your G major pentatonic. And you can start any note you want. I kind of went overboard with that dan, da, dan, da, da. But that, you know, it's the E minor pentatonic. So to a G progression, a basic one, would work killer with it, or instead of that C, you could have an A minor. You know, so, you know, that you just hit the notes that harmonize with it. So on the E minor pentatonic for the G is your root note. Your harmony to that is its third, which is a B note, right? Sounds killer. Everywhere it is. Yeah, everywhere it is. That's what I did. I took anything that I came to realize, like these things, I'd find everywhere it is. You know, what do I got? Yeah. All you need. That's a killer. I use that one a lot on pretty stuff if I do an easy listening track. I love that kind of stuff. Just beautiful, pretty, you know. When it goes to the C, I hit an E note. All E minor pentatonic stuff, but then I turn them into octave things, you know. Beautiful. You can live off that to a pretty, you know, thing in G. So that kind of... It's just simple. There's all kinds of beautiful stuff. And that's all the E minor pentatonic to all that stuff. So when it's on a C chord, I'm just taking the E minor and going from the E, which is a harmony to that C. It's all E minor pentatonic. And right up to a G while it's on the C chord. And then when it goes to the G, I'll go down to a D. All harmonizing to those chords. Not playing a G when it's on a G, not playing a D when it's on a D. Just harmonizing to each chord. Which means playing one of the other notes to that chord. So you practice your pentatonics the same way. All the E minor pentatonics, but lead off with like the B note in the E to a G chord. That's how I got really good at creating phrases. Was I played in my early days when I started digging in 2012-13, I would play to one chord tracks. I'd get a track on YouTube that was just going. And then, you know, so I would master, not totally, but fairly good, you know, create a lot of pretty little simple things to just that one chord with just the E minor pentatonic. Now I know the Dorian, I know all the scale blocks and dyads and octaves and stuff in any key, triads, you know. So, but what I first did was milk the crap out of just those 5 notes to one chord for 10 minutes. So some of those tracks were 20 minutes long, you know. And of course, when I start throwing in diatonic, I can do 10 times as much more stuff. can even stay on E minor pentatonic right there when it goes to the C chord, what I just did. You know, so I'm just arpeggiating a G chord, and all these notes are E minor pentatonic. All across it. Those are all from the E minor pentatonic. What? So, you know, you got... Well, it's on the G, and then when it goes to the C, I just stay there and just bend this up. Incredible stuff just in your E minor pentatonic for the G major. You know, that's what I love about teaching these things, you know. And then, you know, it's all E minor pentatonic. But that's your G major side of it. That's where E minor pentatonic comes from, G major. But then when you start getting into dyad stuff, man, you really start creating. You got all this other stuff. Then when you start taking and doing the octaves of the E minor pentatonic, and then, you know, then you got your full scale. So I went a little past just the E minor, but you got the gist of it. You know, all your G major, you know, is in that, you know. Killer, tons of stuff just with them 5 notes. So there you go, the G side of E minor pentatonic. I think I feels like I just did a good lesson. Sometimes I'm like, I just kind of slopped it out, but I think this one's got some excellent info. Come on, chair, move over, there we go. Alrighty, see if I stayed under 15 minutes.